We took this doctor from 10,000 average views to 320,000 views on a single short form video. There weren't any hacks, there was no fame. We just pre-built a viral content system, and I'm going to teach you how that works in this video. I'm Ty, I'm the co-founder of View Movement. We help mission-driven voices get seen on social media. And if you're stuck in the no view prison, this is your way out. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact formula behind what made that reel go viral, how we made it so you can copy and paste and finally grow with purpose. So let's get to it. First, I'm going to show you guys the biggest mistake that most creators make that's keeping their content completely invisible online. Then I'll walk you through the exact process that we use to turn one story into a viral piece of content. And finally, I'm going to show you how to reverse engineer your own content using a system so that you can scale your brand and stop wasting time on content that literally goes nowhere. All right, let's get into it. All right, first, so what's the biggest mistake that most creators are making that's keeping them completely invisible? See, most mission-driven experts, whether you're a doctor or a coach or a business owner, you've probably got major credibility. You've probably built something real, but your content, it's all over the place and no one knows what you're making content about. And this was Dr. Buck, the doctor that we helped explode. He had 20 plus years of experience in his field. He was making content for everybody and nobody at the same time, trying to speak to patients, students, colleagues, even some general audiences, all in the same exact feed. With that, there's no consistent voice, there's no consistent outcome. And the worst part is he didn't even know who he was trying to reach. So our first move was to rebrand him from scratch. And that doesn't just mean that you have new colors or a fancy new bio. It means that we literally redefined who his audience actually was. We stripped everything down, got laser focused on that one niche where his offer had the most power. And for him, that was education for med students. And from that moment on, every piece of content, every short form, every story was made for that audience. And if you don't know who your content is for, you're not building a brand, you're just posting. And that goes almost nowhere 100% of the time. What we do at View Movement is we use our branding sheet and our mission doc, two simple tools that forced us to define three key factors. Who is this content for? What problem do they want solved? And last, what word or value you own in your target audience mind when they see you on their feed. And this was the single shift that took his audience from being really confused to fully compelled and engaged with Buck. All right, next we leverage short form with a payoff first approach. This is where most people go wrong because most creators start with the hook, but you can't write a great hook unless you know what the payoff is. So in one of Buck's long form interviews, he told a wild story about a patient that had 17 gunshot wounds. Our team heard this and we immediately knew that that was the moment. This was the emotional spike. This is where the dopamine hit. This was the reward for the viewer's brain that it was wired to chase. So we reverse engineered the entire reel around that moment. We started with the payoff, then we pulled in the body where Buck tells the full story. And then we crafted the hook to guarantee that people would stick around to see the payoff unfold. You see how that works? This is the opposite of how most people build content. And this is why content dies in the first 3 seconds. So if you're taking notes, you'll realize that payoffs are what actually make content go viral. They're the most shocking, emotional, intriguing, or unexpected part of any story. And they work because they hack the brain's dopamine system. They reward curiosity, and that's why we use our viral formula checklist before we post anything online. It's actually free, and you can grab that in the description. It helps us pressure test whether a clip is built to win. So guys, once we've had the payoff locked in, we wrote the hook backwards to promise on that moment. This is how you're going to create a real curiosity loop. You guarantee the value, then you build tension until it lands. In Buck's case, the reel started with a personal lesson and a life or death decision from a senior surgeon. The audience stayed locked on that from the beginning to the end, and that's what made the algorithm kick in and boost the video out to thousands of other viewers. So finally, here is the structure we use to build the reel. It's payoff first, that's the emotional moment. Then the body, this is the supporting story plus a little bit of pacing. And then finally the hook is gonna be placed to guarantee the payoff and loop the video seamlessly. You can see how this completely works to reward the dopamine centers in the brain. People get what they came for, in other words. That's what makes good content. And this stuff is not luck. This is a very repeatable system that we use across the board for all of our clients at View Movement. This stuff is tapped into human psychology, and it was designed frame by frame to pull the audience through until the very last second. So let's just recap for the mission-driven experts who are tired of being ignored online. Here is what you need to do. Stop making content for yourself and get ultra clear on your audience. Double down on them. Rebrand around one lane and one message and own your actual audience. Identify the payoffs first and then reverse engineer content from there. Then build short form content using payoff as the hook, not the other way around. And you should use this system because it removes the guesswork and actually gives your content a chance to win on social media against all of the other videos and all the other creators that are creating daily, sometimes hourly. This is exactly how we help creators like Buck escape no view prison. and they turn their story into a platform that grows their brand, their influence, and their business. If you want help building your own content system, the same exact one that got 320,000 views in a single week on a single reel for $1, visit View Movement, click the link in the description. There's somebody waiting for you to have a call if you want that. Otherwise, go implement this into your content, and I'll see you in the next one.